Hey guys! For anyone who came to listen, thanks for joining me. I'm Paige and this is Pod Reacts. In today's episode, I'll be reacting to the podcast Finding Love in Challenging Times from the Now or Never series. So if you haven't been able to give it a listen just yet, don't worry, that's okay. Finding Love in Challenging Times is a podcast that sheds a positive light on maintaining love during the pandemic. It's got this really fantastic message to listeners about different creative measures and how to overcome challenges relating to relationships. It's also super upbeat, positive, and really bubbly, and it's got this great conversation between two hosts who discuss the experiences of love in quarantine with so many different people. We get to see how an 18-year-old uses technology in order to stay in touch and connected with her boyfriend. And we hear about an adorable story of this elderly couple, which I'll talk about later. And we also get to learn about different coping mechanisms for people in long-distance relationships, such as making a song. We also learn how the unprecedented times and movements has helped a woman accept her culture and strengthen her self-love. So if you want to listen to the whole podcast, I'll link it down below for you. So while we all have different experiences, ethnicities, and identities, love is a very universal topic. It's not something that's bound by borders or cultures. So when love is spoken about in a positive and optimistic way, audience members will respond to it positively. Anybody could listen and would be reminded of the power of love. Since the messages displayed throughout the podcast were so reassuring and encouraging, it will help listeners see the hope in love or feel more confident about love in general. Today we're flooded with celebrity breakups. We hear, "Too hot to handle" stars Francesca Fargo and Harry Jowsey called it quits. When we hear such negative stories relating to love, it's really easy to lose hope and believe that, hey, I guess it's just fate. However, this podcast is an escape from the negativity as it takes a closer look at amazing stories from everyday people. And you know what? Everyone will have a response to the podcast because, well, we're all going through the same struggles. Those who have had a serious or long-distance relationship may respond on a more romantic level. Personally, I've experienced a similar long-distance relationship when I was away in sleepaway camp, so I totally understand the measures that need to be taken to maintain that connection when you're distanced. But love isn't just about romance, it's also about loving our friends and family. So some people may listen or respond to the podcast on a more friends and family level. But whatever your experiences are, it'll influence the way you relate to the podcast. And at the end of the day, anyone can relate because, well, we all understand the struggle and importance of trying to stay connected with those we love. Now, let's talk about how heartwarming those stories were. How could anyone not respond positively to those? In particular, the story about the elderly couple was so touching. Sam, the 93-year-old, explained how he visits his 92-year-old wife, Shirley, every day at her residence home. While he can't physically see her, he stands outside her window every day to communicate. How cute! These stories give us hope to not give up on love and instead try to find ways to keep it. Well, it looks like I'm running out of time, so as I said before, love is universal. No matter what, anybody who listens to this podcast will be able to recognize the message and respond to the stories of love in a positive way. Well, thanks for listening, and hope you tune in next time to Pod Reacts.